All right, so a very quick demo in one option for how to pose a hand, say to bend the fingers at their different joints. This is going to be reliant on masking and using the transform gizmo up here. Either move, scale, or rotate, they all do the same thing. So to start with, a reminder about masking. You hold down the control key, that temporarily switches to the mask pen brush. By default, you're going to be set to the dots stroke, which allows you to paint on a mask, and you can use that if you want. I often will instead hold down the control key, left click on the stroke, and switch to lasso. It's a little faster for me by and large. Now the idea here is to start masking off parts of your fingers, or you can even do this at the wrist too if you wanted to, in order to make the bends. So I'm going to start with, maybe I'll do the index finger here. And what I'm going to do is get an angle basically right above, hold down the control key, and you can see, drag, mask that entire finger basically down to the sort of first joint over there. Now it's a nice idea before rotating it to also control click directly on the mask. What that does is it sort of fades or softens the transition between masked and unmasked. Now the other thing to note is if I use this to rotate, it's going to rotate the rest of the hand. In fact, you can see this if I switch over here and start rotating it. It's actually, you want it the other way around. Luckily, it's real easy to just control click in an empty area, and that just flips the mask. So now going back to the gizmo, you'll notice if I start to rotate it, it's starting to work, but the problem is I don't like this position of the pivot point for this rotator. So I can actually move this. I really want it to be somewhere around the middle of this transitional area by holding on the Alt key and grabbing, say, one of these corner pieces. You can also do it with one of the arrows as well. So again, the Alt key, and you'll notice I need to do this in the different views to really get it set up. I can even rotate the pivot point a little bit. So I'm just sort of continuing to kind of keep on tweaking it till I get it somewhere pretty good. So now that I've got a position somewhere in there, now without the Alt key held down, I can just go ahead and rotate this. And you can see how I can just keep on repeating that, where I can basically clear out the mask and just control click dragging in an empty area. And go back to the draw mode, which is really what you want to be doing if you're sort of doing any sculpting. Now, for instance, I can go over here and kind of mask out from that knuckle down, control click on the mask to soften, control click in an empty area to invert, switch back to a gizmo, Alt drag to that knuckle, and then I can rotate further. So that hopefully gives you an idea of how you might quickly, without setting up a rig, to pose your fingers. Okay, done.